because I'm feeling inadequate, and it just came off. But I gotta buy a new strap. Got both dogs in here today. Underneath the hood, we have 12-volt fridge. This thing has been great. All the stuff that you see here on the tailgate is pretty rock solid. Howdy friends, welcome back. Hope you don't mind, I'm gonna put my sunglasses on so I'm not squinting at the camera. Sun's right at me. Anyway, thanks for coming back again. I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. Now my wife is out getting interviewed by a local news agency, so because I'm feeling inadequate, I decided that I'm going to make a YouTube video. I'm just kidding. No, I wanted to do a little bit of a different video today because I wanted to show you how I put my camper up onto my truck bed. Obviously you can see that it is off. About 2 weeks ago, I had to take the camper off because I needed my truck for truck stuff. I had a bunch of, I had an opportunity to get some firewood from a local farmer. Went over there and cut it all up and hauled a lot of it back, so I needed my truck for that. But I got to put the camper back in because I have a camping trip coming up next week. So I think that this would be a good opportunity to show you how I get the camper on the truck by myself. It is, I'll give the caveat, it is a lot easier. I mean, much easier if you have 2 people, and it's a lot faster too, but it can be done with 1 person. The camper is empty, aside from the solar panels that I have on top, and obviously the awning that is in the front. And my sleeping platform with the plywood is in there as well, but everything else has been taken out of the camper. And I'd say the camper, well, I do know for a fact that the camper without anything at all, like if I take off the solar panels and the awning and the platform out of there, it weighs 190 pounds, just bare bones. I think with all the stuff that I have attached and the sleeping platform inside there now, it's probably around 225, maybe 230 pounds. I'm just estimating here. So that's what we have to work with. Now it is on my 4x6 trailer, and I do have it positioned in a way to where I can get it up. So I'm gonna show you how I do this. So hang tight. So first things first, obviously the tailgate must come down. And as you can see, I have a jack. This is just a scissor jack that I pilfered from my my Mazda. A little piece of wood there to kind of help spread out the weight so it doesn't indent the plywood. And then I have 2 tire chocks. All this does is just kind of putting it at a little bit of an angle so that when the weight comes down on the corner of this dunnage rack, it's not going to try to bend it at all. Let me give you a little bit of a better view. So as you can see down there in the back, I have 1 of 2 dunnage racks. The other one is out of the way for now, obviously, because I want to have it at a little bit of a ramp at an incline. But I have these 2 tire chocks here, which are just going to act as secondary points of contact, so not all of the weight of the camper is going to be on that front corner. I have seen it before where those front legs do get bent. I put it back into shape, so that's not an issue, but I want to try to not do that repeatedly because I think then it would actually fail. So let's go ahead and position this jack first, somewhere in the middle, probably one of those ridges, to have access to my screw gun. I'll put that down. Slide this jack in a little further just so we can have better access to it. Okay, so now I can get the driver in there to operate the jack and lift it up. I'll show you that in a minute. But basically, as you can see, I have the ramp on an incline. Just barely misses the tailgate. But I will use the tailgate first to kind of get the camper up here to slide it up, and then once the bulk of it is on the plywood here, then we'll be able to push it into place. This is just a piece of 3/4 inch thick pressure treated plywood, so it's least likely to rot. I did trim about 12 inches off of it so that it wouldn't stick out past the camper. Because I do, even though this is a full-size bed, I do have a truck toolbox here that I've had before I even bought the camper that holds various tools, obviously, and other implements that I use for camping, off-road recovery and stuff. So it does take up some of the real estate, at least on the top section. I can go all the way to the bottom, to the back of the cab for a full length bed, but at least anything that's elevated, I am limited by that truck toolbox. All right, so what we got to do now is roll it in place and get it into position so that I could tilt it up onto here. But since I'm using 2 of my tire chocks to kind of help get this at the pitch that I need, I have these 2 smaller kind of plastic chocks that I'm going to use. And I also have 2 pieces of scrap 2x4 that I'm going to chalk on the other side of that. So that's what I have those for. Let's get it into place. Just going to get these out of the way for a brief moment. Put these right here for now. Then we're just going to lift it up. As I have this front end of the camper sticking out towards the tongue, we'll lift it up, get it up onto here, push it as far forward as we can, and then we'll chalk up the tire so that it can't move anymore. So let's go ahead. As you can see, the camper is up onto the tailgate. We still have a little bit of a ways to go to get it onto that plywood platform. Let's go ahead and get the tires chalked up. Whew, I tell you, it is not even noon and it's already working itself up to be a pretty hot day. Spring, I think, is finally here. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this up onto the truck bed. Just to give a little bit of a realistic representation here, I've got a clock. And if I have to speed this up into 2 times, you'll be able to see how much time has elapsed. So let's go ahead and get the thing up there. It's chalked up and put in place. So now we just need a little bit of elbow grease. Just gotta get the correct torque setting here. There we go. All right, there we have it. Again, no editing. Okay. So now we've got it jacked up. You have to get in the other dunnage rack, which I have sitting on top of the truck toolbox. Should have just enough clearance. Okay. Tricky thing is trying to get these to line up with the ridges in the truck bed. Yep, okay. And there we have it. It's up onto the truck bed. Nope, I meant to do that. So this here is what I was talking about, strap for the propane holder. It's torn pretty bad. I'm probably have to get a replacement. I don't think that's safe to strap up there. I'd make a new one, but I think this is all riveted together. Or it's just tack welded. Oh, and it just came off. Nope, there we have it. I guess I gotta buy a new strap. So propane cylinder is not going back on. right, now that I've gone around and make sure all four corners are tightened, this thing is pretty rock solid. As you can see, it's just moving the bed with it. And yes, I can open this toolboxes. This one just sticks. Oh, my dog decided to jump up here. Now we've got the camper on, it's secured. Before I put it all together, I am going to show you my camping setup as I put it all together. It'd be a good opportunity to kind of show everything without having to take it all out, since it's already out in the first place and I got to put it back in. But before I do that, I figured I'd tell you a little bit about the truck. Okay, got both dogs in here today. So yeah, this is a 1997 Ford F350. I have, as you can see, 235,000 miles on it. And I just, the only things that I've installed inside here is basically a, well, this is the aftermarket head unit that came with it. This is a Bluetooth adapter. This here is my scan gauge that I have tuned programmed so that I can read the engine operating temperature, the battery voltage, the IPR duty cycle, as well as the ICP pressure. Those are things that I keep an eye on. I do want to install a pyrometer with a gauge so I can monitor my EGTs as well as a transmission temperature, fluid temperature. Originally, I thought that the scan gauge would be able to do that, but I have it programmed on here, but it doesn't read anything. I don't think the original OBD, I think this one has the original OBD1, and that will not read out to the scan gauge what the transmission temperature is, because I don't think the PCM even knows that as well. But anyway, other than that, I have the PHP Hydra tuner that I got from Jelly Built Performance. So I have custom tunes on this. Mainly the only one that I use is I have what's called a daily driver, which gives it like additional 75 horsepower, smooths out the shift points. But the one that I use the most is the Eco Mode. That has the smoothest shift points for these E4OD transmissions. They shift really hard, so using that not only saves fuel, but it also smooths out the shift points. Underneath the hood, we have the legendary 7.3 Power Stroke diesel, made by Navistar. And not really much done to this. This does not have the intercool on it, because this is a 97. That did not come until the 98.5, the last year they went to the Super Duty platform. But as far as the engine work that I've done in here, I did have the entire coolant system replaced. I have a new water pump, a new vacuum pump that was just going out, new radiator, degas bottle. I'd replaced both batteries with 2 AGM that are pretty heavy duty. AGM batteries are great for cold weather, but they both have 950 cold cranking amp seats. So I have plenty of amperage to turn over this big engine. Other than that, I have an S&B air filter. That's just a dry media filter that I have connected to the intake that goes to the turbo. And this is just something that I outsourced from eBay, which was the original snorkel that attaches to that, because the S&B doesn't come with the snorkel. They ended up upgrading this later on, that actually had an integrated snorkel to draw in air from underneath the hood as opposed to drawing in hot air from the engine bay. Other than that, I don't know if you can see down there that I have in red. That is a red head steering box. I replaced that a couple years ago because these old OBS trucks are known for having some really sloppy steering. So that fixes that up a lot, because it was just, you'd be driving down the road and you're just kind of going like this trying to keep the truck straight. That was really annoying. So that helped fix that a little bit too. You can even go further and get an upgraded steering column, which I haven't done yet. So I have the original steering column, which has like a rag joint, which still gives it a little bit of slop, but that steering box in there has greatly helped. Let's see, what else have I done here? I have Fox 2.0 shocks. Yeah, the Fox 2.0s. These have worked out really great. They've definitely made the dampening of the suspension a lot better, because this is just it's a 1-ton truck, so I've got, just the heavy duty leaf springs in the front and the back, and that's it. So having a good suspension has definitely made the ride a lot smoother. I'm not gonna say that it's completely smoothed out. It's just a lot better than it was before from the stock suspension that I had on there. See, underneath here, I do have an upgraded transmission pan. It holds about 2 more quarts worth of fluid. So that's been replaced, as I had the transmission work a little bit done, and then I added this Fumoto valve onto the oil pan here. So that's basically like a little ball valve. It makes oil changes so much easier. I just flip that valve open and right into a 5-gallon bucket. The person that I bought it from did replace the exhaust to a 4-inch exhaust from the downpipe out to this muffler here, and well, I'm sorry, I guess that's the resonator muffler. I had never heard of them, MBRP Incorporated. I did look them up, and they are known for doing custom exhaust for like trucks and I think hot rods too. Now, I'm sure if you watch some of my videos, you know that I have a front cargo basket, as well as my HitchFire that attaches to the rear hitch. Now, if you run any implements on your front or rear hitches, you know that a lot of times they tend to wobble around. I like to do a little bit of off-roading here and there, going on the forest roads, and I don't want my stuff rattling around. So what I ended up getting are these etrailer anti-rattle collars. And these things are great, I'm telling you. I actually went on a waiting list to get these when they first came out. So you put your implement in here, you know, with your hitch or in my case, basket or the HitchFire. And when it's in there, you just turn the screw, and you see this little thing up here in the corner? That kind of clamps down on it. So it's really easy to take on and off. If you've used those U-bolts with the nuts, with the nylon nuts, how much of a pain in the butt they are to get off. You can't get them off with your fingers. Usually you need ratchets. You have to crawl down on the ground because they face down on the ground. And a lot of times, you know, if you torque down those nylon nuts a lot, they're pretty much they're spent. So you have at least in my case, I've had to get new nylon nuts anytime I have to take on and off. It's a real pain in the butt. With these collars stay on here all the time, and you just use this little screw, this little thumb screw here to loosen it, tighten it, pull the and I liked it so much that I actually ended up getting a third one here to put on this 12-inch extension that I have. I had this extension on here to allow my HitchFire thing to, if it was too close, I would never be able to, because I can't close my tailgate all the way because the camper sticks out a bit. So I needed that additional length to have the clearance I need. But I still have to keep the tailgate up because when I close the HitchFire all the way, it rests up against it. I need like an additional 1/2 inch to be able to get it to the locking mechanism to lock in place. So I still have to put the tailgate up. But it also allows it to stick out farther enough too. And if you've seen in my videos, I use the HitchFire as a sort of step because I have, I don't know if you can see that, there is some traction tape that I have wrapped around it that allows me to step on that to get up inside there. So yeah, shout out to eTrailer. I bought those with my own money, but they are worth every single penny. I love them. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty much bare bones right there. I mean, I do have, you know, the shelf. I have the folding shelf, the corner shelf here with the heater that's just held on by a magnet, and the thermostat, lights and stuff, the fire extinguisher, and the sleeping platform. Again, all this is just a 4-inch steel sleeping platform, and I have 3 pieces of 2x2 by 1/2 inch thick plywood to give some rigidity, because I would find that my mattress would want to sink down into these little slats here, and it was kind of driving me nuts. And I secured most of it with by drilling some holes and putting some zip ties in to help hold the plywood in place, as well as hold the bars in place so that I could lift it up and have a little bit of additional storage space in here. I do keep some small things mostly towards the front here so I can access them. But that is the sleeping platform. So let's go ahead and get the mattress inside here. This is a tri-fold mattress. My original idea was to set it up in a way I could actually fold it up and kind of have it as a couch to sit back inside there. But I've never used it that way. I do have additional throw pillows that I usually just put towards the back if I want to kind of sit a little bit more upright when I'm in there in the evening. But most of the time when I'm outside camping, I'm outside. I just sleep inside here. And this here is just a wool blanket that I put up towards the head of the bed. Before I put the mattress in there, I should have thought over something first, but it's okay. I have the other stuff that I put underneath the mattress as well, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. First thing that I have here is the first thing that goes in usually is this little chest here. This just has things like additional clothes, some dude wipes, a couple other fans, toilet paper, deodorant, a spittoon bottle for when I want to brush my teeth inside the camper and I need somewhere to spit it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That goes all the way towards the back, so it's right next to my head. I usually leave it open and it slats down. And then I have my power station here. This is a VTOMAN 1500 watt. That is 1.5 kilowatt hour, or 1500 watt hours. And that's the main thing that I run most of my stuff off of. I really only use the inverter for if I have to run the diesel heater or my air conditioner. But other than that, I try to run everything off of 12 volt as well. I usually run my refrigerator. I have a 12 volt fridge too that I keep inside here when I am going to the destination, and then I usually pull it out and put it in the cab of my truck and run that off of 12 volt too. It runs so low, it only pulls about maybe 23 watts when the compressor kicks on. I mean, I have kept it on there all night, multiple times in that truck, and it has never drained the starter batteries. Again, I have 2 starter batteries for this truck. So with that small amount of wattage draw, every once in a while, it's pretty small. Even in the summertime, I've never had it drain the battery. So yeah, I have the little personal chest up there. That's just towards the back. The power station is right there. This here is the cable that I have coming off of my solar panels. This here, it just runs up out of there through this connection box. And if you can't tell, my solar panels are wired in parallel. I have 2 100 watt Renogy solar panels. If you can see from where I live, I mean, it's still early spring here, trees aren't leafed out. We do have a lot of tree cover, and where I like to go tends to also have a lot of tree cover as well. Now I know that solar panels run much more efficient in series. I just don't seem to really get as much performance out of the sun when I have them. By running them in parallel, the way I understand it is it actually increases the amperage. So even though the electricity will be flowing at a slower rate, it's going to have a lot more amperage. And in my testing, it does a lot better at charging it up. 47 watts of input. And then of course here I have my BougeRV 12 volt fridge. This thing has been great. Not too big, not too small. It is 20 quarts. So I find that it's just enough for what I need. I usually keep it on eco mode because it works well enough, and you know, it only draws a small amount of power. And quite frankly, I haven't really had the need to run it on the standard mode. The only thing that I've noticed about it is that on eco mode, it does kind of frost up a little bit around the edges. So if you're using like, if you have like lettuce or fresh herbs that touch these sidewalls, they're gonna touch the frost and they're gonna get, they're gonna get really soggy. If you've seen like, well, you know, what happens when you freeze lettuce or cilantro or parsley, for example, it just basically turns dark green and gets soggy and it's no good. So I usually bring a cooler with me too with ice. So if I'm doing that, which I usually do, I will toss my fresh herbs and my lettuce. If I'm bringing it, I'll toss that in the cooler with the ice. Seems to fare a lot better in there. But when I'm not using it, it does stay in here. And when I'm going to the camping site, I will store it inside here as well. Keep it plugged into the power station. And like I mentioned before, when I arrive at the campsite, I pull it out of here, put it in the cab of the truck, and run it off the 12 volt in the truck. This just gives me an additional area to sit upright and like put my shoes on, for example, and you know, that way I'm not just climbing directly onto the bed. I have, you know, a little bit of extra space inside there because it's very small inside there. That's why I don't really do a lot of things in there. It's just for sleeping. What's wrong, buddy? What's wrong? You want to be on camera? Say hi. Oh, sorry about that. All right, all the stuff that you see here on the tailgate is generally what I keep inside the truck, either towards the front or underneath the bed. These are just things that I normally, that used to be in my my other storage boxes, but I just found that I tend to want to access them more often than not. So I keep them in the camper where I can get to them really quickly as needed. And I either store them right here in the space between the bed and the front door, or right in the front underneath the bed here. And those things are chiefly is this here. I'm sure you've seen these. These are like little pop-up small tents for showers, or as like a privacy booth for if you got to go and, you know, do a number 2 or number 1 for your ladies. So I had that there, and I mainly just use it for if I want to take a shower. That just stores up underneath here. Simple as that. Next thing I have here, this is just the accessory pack for my power station. This has the AC charger, as well as DC charger and some other things in it as well. I mean, I'm not going to bring it out here. That's no point showing you. That's what it is. This stays in the front here too. This is a charger for. I have a smaller 10 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery that's DC only. I usually use it to charge my camera equipment and my phones and stuff. Because it's so small and it's so light, I can pull it in and out. I'm not having to reach back into the main power station. But that's what I usually use that for. You know what, I'll just go ahead and show you that real quick. That's it right here. And right now it's charging off of the solar. This is the Powerbox made by Dakota Lithium. Let's see what we got here. If you can see that, I got about 18.8 volts coming in off that panel. So what I just showed you there is the AC adapter for that same power box. Plugs right onto the terminals, and you can charge it off of a 120 volt household current. So I've got here, just this is something that I started using recently. These are some food grade wipes. Definitely facilitates washing dishes in the wintertime. Next here I just have a hose. This is for my Mr. Buddy heater, but I often use this too to hook up like my propane stove, or anything else that runs off propane. If I wanted to connect it to my 5-pound cylinder, that would be in case, like say, I forgot or I ran out of my 1-pound cylinders. I have that as a backup. I'm a big believer in redundancy. You know, I think I wasn't in Boy Scouts, but I believe they teach in Boy Scouts like 2 is 1 and 1 is none. I like that philosophy a lot. So I keep this inside here as well. This here, I just started using this too. It actually is a paper towel holder. I'm getting always tired of having the wind blow my paper towels off onto the ground and everywhere, and when it rains or if it's humid outside, they just get all soggy. So I just kind of hang this one up here onto the door like that till I need it. And here I just have a little storage case here that has some additional butane. Again, readily accessible right there. This here is a little portable butane heater made by Covia. It's called the Cupid heater. This works great if I want to just toast up or heat up the inside of the camper really quickly before I run my little space heater. I have a little 200 watt space heater here in the corner. You probably saw that in my last video. I was using that as my primary heat source. But I have a little 200 watt space heater. Again, it's just held on by magnets to keep it from falling off, or me kicking it off in the middle of the night and catching something on fire and melting it. This just plugs into an analog thermostat, and then I have a cord that runs over, connects into the AC inverter for the power station. That way it doesn't run constantly. I can have it at a set temperature, and it kicks on and off when it drops below set temperature. That way it's not draining down the battery all night, running constantly. Butane stove. I use this a lot in the summertime. So that way I don't have to bust out the 2 burner unless I need 2 burners, but usually I just need 1. And then this is my Hill People Gear chest pack or chest rig here. This just holds like my flashlight. I have, you know, a Sawyer Mini, tourniquet, dude wipes, pad, medicine, med kit, everything, whistle, kind of a little mess kit, spork and spoon combo. So I had that, you know, and I have a first aid kit here in the back. as well as an additional compartment to hold something else, if you know what I mean. So I keep that inside there. And then this is just a little, kind of like a waffled rag that I use to, if Leona's paws are kind of muddy, I can use it. It's very, very coarse to kind of knock off the dirt and the stuff off of her paws. She's going to climb inside, and then, you know, if it gets dirty, I just store it on the truck in the toolbox, and I just toss it in the wash when I get home. So I keep that inside there as well. This is my BougeRV camping lantern. This thing works great. I just got this earlier this year, and I've been using it. Really works great. It illuminates a place up. Eliminates me from having to constantly have my flashlight on all the time, because I tend to always forget they're on. Either blind the camera or just run it down and then it's useless. That stays in there too. And that's pretty much it for what goes underneath the bed. There we go. Something was holding that up. Of course, here I have this this Cooney fan. This thing has worked great. This actually was suggested to me by the owners, or one of the owners of Tusca HitchHiker campers. They're now part of Redneck Blind's family. They're called the Freedom Camper, but the same people are making them in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, where I went and picked this up. But one of the owners, he recommended this to me, and I didn't think of it as much, and I have other battery-powered fans, and then he kept saying that this was good, so I went and got it, and I've tried it out. This thing is great. On low, I can last like 2 or 3 days. It's pretty wild. If I'm not using it, I just clamp it up to the side of this swing out shelf that I have there. That's just a place to, I usually put my heater up on there, or I'll set my phone, or sometimes I'll configure the air conditioner to set up on that ledge as well. And then over there I just have a thermometer. Shows inside outside temps. It's 84 inside here. It's almost 81 degrees outside. Whew, it's hot. It's the 4th of April. It's really unusual to be this warm. I'm sweating bullets out here. And this flash here is my my nature hike chair. I just put that right there because it's one of the first things I set up. And this is a small table that I have. That way, you see on one of the 2 chuck boxes that I store on the back of my my HitchFire, the one that usually keeps my pots and pans, instead of having to bend over every single time and get it on the ground, I'm just trying to use it as a back saver. So it's just a little table to keep it up, like around knee level, so I can open up the top and just reach right inside without having to bend over. I try to eliminate how much I have to bend over as much as possible. Oh, looks like my Chewy delivery's here. So I spared you showing how to install the HitchFire because, I mean, it's just a hitch. But as you can see here, it is rock solid with those etrailer anti-rattle hitch collars. These things are just awesome. And I use this as a step here. That's why I have this grip tape on there. I'm sorry, traction tape. It's just like, it's like adhesive sandpaper is what it is. It's wrapped around that. And this swings in and out. This is what I use as my table. It's also as a carrying ledge to carry my chuck box on the back here. I just strap them down with cam straps. But as you can see, I can't quite close it all the way. It won't lock in place. And then this just sits on it, so I have to raise the tailgate up to get it out of the way. Oh, looks like it came out of the slot. There we go. That just goes into place. There is a little pin back here that allows you to keep it from swinging back and forth. I'm just going to leave it loose for now. This is an adjustable leg here that is magnetic. It just sticks on like that, and this allows an additional amount of weight. You know, if you're chopping, or if you're, if I want to stage my boxes on here, which I'm going to do right now, this gives some extra rigidity, as long as it doesn't. There we go. As I knock my glasses off, and they're probably scratched up now. Okay, all right. This box here, I just keep, it should not go in there. This is just, knives. It's a little air compressor that I use to pressurize that homebrew keg that I have been using lately as my, my water source in lieu of one of those battery-operated faucets. And the reason why I like using those homebrew kegs is because the one that I have is stainless steel, so if I want to heat the water up, I can just throw it over a burner and I have hot water. So just some soap, seasonings, silicone measuring cup. These are plates and bowls and stuff, hand sanitizer, aluminum foil, storage bags of all sizes, folding knife, obviously a larger knife, some tea, lighter, things that I need to do the actual cooking, basically. That goes in this one. And in the lower, this box here I tend to put right on my toilet, my toilet gate. I almost said that. My tailgate. I put that there. I usually set it right over there when I'm using it, that I can slide it in and out. But for this here, this is kind of like my my pots and pans. I have, I have a Dutch oven in here. I have a cast iron skillet, various smaller cooking pots, my wide kettle for heating up water, drip coffee maker. I have a wind baffle, a trivet. This is I don't remember why I put that in there. Wood cutting board, and obviously the attachments from my keg to use as the sprayer, and the tap that I use as a faucet, as well as my battery powered faucet that is also in there too. But I'm really liking using the pressurized water over the battery because I don't have to worry about it getting wet and shorten up the thing, because that's actually the second battery powered faucet that I have, because I left one out in the rain one camping trip and it got wet and it didn't work anymore. Surprise. This is a newly acquired thing that I have here. It's a battery powered blender along with this aluminum Dutch oven. As you can see, I've already boiled some water inside of it there to create a passive oxidation layer. So that's the chuck box assembly, basically. On this side of the toolbox, I usually keep my generator, a little footstool if I need it, ratchet straps, levels. There's some various fuel additives, WD-40, bungee cords. I have, additional bungee cords, pliers, dead blow hammer, hitch pins and stuff in there. And during the winter time too, I usually keep an additional 2.5 gallons of diesel fuel for the diesel heater when I'm taking it. In the winter time, I usually take these bags out of here. This is an air compressor. It's a heavy-duty 2-cylinder air compressor to fill up these my tires, because they run high pressure. This is just recovery gear: toe straps, tree savers, shackles. There is a 15,000-pound snatch block. Back there, just various additional parts. I have a spare serpentine belt. This is a spare Motorcraft idler pulley. I've got tensioner pulleys in there as well. And there is kind of additional sensors, like my camshaft position sensor. But normally in the wintertime, I take these two, the recovery gear bag and the compressor, and I tend to put them on the floor, well, here on the passenger side. That way I had the space inside here to put my diesel heater. All right, lastly, I have this big blue storage box. This is basically, this box, I have been using this for the last 10 years or so as my catch-all camping box. But I still use this. This generally keeps the stuff that I always want to have on hand, but I don't necessarily need right away. So this holds most of the bigger stuff. And I think one day I'll probably have it set up to where I'll just do away with it, because it is kind of a, not really a pain in the butt, but it's adding additional length to the front of the vehicle. In some off-road situations, it could be potentially a snag as for an approach angle. Even though I haven't had that issue yet, and frankly, I don't really do any extreme off-roading. Maybe just like category 1 and 2 stuff, maybe the occasional category 3. But that's about it. I mean, I'm not a skilled off-roader. I have a capable truck, but I know my limits. And if I want to go somewhere where I think I can do it, I will attempt it. Anyway, I'm rambling, I digress. So this just carries some of the stuff that I don't normally use. Usually it's the larger stuff that is a lot more difficult to stow away. So these here, I could probably get rid of these. These are just Arc'teryx survival blankets. They're kind of like tarps with a reflective liner on the inside. I had those out Obviously for some cold weather camping, but I'm going to put those away here. So I've got some spare paper towels. Down here, just some toilet liners. Let's see here, my portable shower. These are some expandable tent pole type things, like if I wanted to set up shelter with a tarp. Here I just have guy line, additional hoses, base camp. This stuff is great. If you can't shower and you're stinky and you just want to take, like, you know, a paper towel shower, this stuff you squirt on your hands, rub it on your body, and then just dry it off with a towel or paper towels or whatever. And it really makes you feel like you took a shower. It kind of gets all that sweat and all that, you know, that bacteria off of you. It makes you feel sticky and gross. It works really well. I mean, I love this stuff here. I've even told friends about it, and they're like, "Oh, this stuff is the bee's knees." So I have lots of this. It's made by what is it? Who makes it? I think it's Dead Downwind. I don't remember. But if you look it up, Base Camp, rinse-free, body wash and shampoo. I'm not sponsored by these guys. I've been using them for a while. They're great. When I can't shower, that stuff it's great. It makes you feel nice and freshened up. Tecmu, some wipes here. If you come in contact with poison ivy, you can wipe that off real quick. Just various guy line. Alternate light sources here. This is an inflatable lamp. There's another lantern. These are just stakes, miscellaneous stakes for other things, and more guy line. Here I have my camp blower. That nozzle goes inside there. I also have a camp vacuum cleaner. It runs off the same battery. Yes, they are Hercules. Yes, they're from Harbor Freight. It works great. This here is a little tabletop fire pit. And then here I have a collapsible toilet, or John, commode, whatever you call it, loo, from all my British friends over on the other side of the Atlantic. Below this here is my banjo burner with, if you can see that I normally use to run like a large pot, or if I'm running my my 18-inch Discata cooker, I will use that. And of course in here I have my classic OG Coleman 2-burner propane stove. And then this here is just a collapsible sink basin if for whatever reason I need to, you know, soak some stuff. That's really it. But I am going to put in here the warm weather stuff, like my thermocell and citronella coils. So those will go in there. Hopefully that will close. Will it close? Yeah, it'll close. All right. And the thermocell refills. And this here is just a little battery-powered bug zapper. So, and of course, there are additional trash bags. I like to use small trash bags, but I do like having these very large, heavy-duty ones in case I have to pick up. If you see, I do try to clean up the campsite and leave it better than I found it. If I have to take somebody else's trash, those definitely help. And that. I had these two other rolls of paper towels, but it looks like I already had 2 of them in there, so I will put these back in my garage, but that is that. But anyway, I hope that showing you my system helped you out. You know, maybe give you some ideas on how you can set your system up. And I know some people have been asking about seeing how I have all my stuff set up and what implements I use and how my system is basically kind of set up. So there you have it. So to all those out there, thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. God bless.